The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Sidebar, its guests, callers, and advisors are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS Verizon Media Group. Sidebar, a 103.5 The Beat podcast, is a production of ILTV Studios and may not be reproduced or represented, in part or in its entirety, without the express written consent of Verizon Media Group. Sidebar is the intellectual property of Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2024. All rights reserved.
Welcome back to Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. Today we're going to be talking about art. Hopefully you guys aren't going to be all, Stephen, why are we talking about art? When will I have the time to go to an art factory? Art store? Art cabinet? I have a real job. I'm not a real estate agent who gets to drive around all day in circles. Wow. Firstly, can't believe that you said that about real estate agents. You know, they are the 37th most hardest working people in the Commonwealth. Secondly, you don't need to be rich and own 3 pairs of boat shoes to appreciate art. I mean, it does help. Art is all around us. For example, did you know that we are farmers? Dun, 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 dun. Or that nationwide is on your side. So you experience art all around you every day, from the logos on your clothes to the font design on the side of a jitney. It's all art. But Stephen, that's not real art. Listen to me. The only difference between art and the Department of Environmental Health sending the police to your yard is the level of respect and recognition for it. Some people smear elephant feces on a canvas and sell it for thousands of dollars. Other people draw lifelike pictures when they're 16, but their parents tell them that they need to get a real job. Andy Warhol's Campbell soup can, art. Every ad by Apple, art. The poster for burgers outside of a fast food restaurant, because let's be honest, your burger has never looked like that. That is clearly just an artist's interpretation of a burger. So therefore, art. Respect for a person's artistic expression comes easier when you have certain things. One of those is context. See, you're gonna care more about stuff if it's in a temperature-controlled, well-lit environment that sells wine for $12 a glass. That's just a fact, guys. That's just a fact. But another thing is having an industry, because when people are making money from art, then the clear assumption is that art has value. Sidebar. I know I run on about art and stuff, but do I need to explain the importance of art in everyday life? Like, art influences culture, and that influences your morality. Sorry, I know this is all making me sound like a pretentious snob, and you're just here trying to relax before the news tells you who got murdered today. Congrats, it's not you. Anyway, creative stuff is what teaches us how to treat each other. Do you think high fives just naturally occurred simultaneously across the world? Or were there movies and TV shows that displayed it and made people want to imitate it? Okay. Maybe you're one of those people that believe that secret handshakes have parallel developments because humans, they have to do something with their hands. Fine, I'm not gonna argue with you. But you who live in the Bahamas have to admit that Thanksgiving, the one holiday that our colonizers didn't think that we would ever have a need for. After all, what would a people on a backwater colony have to be thankful for? Where did we get this desire to celebrate this thing? Television. We saw enough of it and thought, man, I would love to eat turkey on a random weekday and watch the Detroit Lions lose a game without any historic significance to us. That, my friends, is art influencing culture. Right now, only those who are blessed beyond measure artistically or, young and stubborn are making money off of their art. And most of them still have second jobs. Do you know what is needed to get more folks the space and time to expand their artistic skills? Grants. You gotta give artists the money to practice and perfect their art, as well as learn what the public wants. But where will this money come from? Like all Bahamians, I'm going to unrealistically lean on the government. But unlike all Bahamians, I'll also give the government a solution. Which brings us to the segment, Dear Minister of Finance and Minister of Economic Affairs and Minister of Culture. Dear Minister of Finance and Minister of Economic Affairs and Minister of Culture, you can save the country. If we want to steer the behavior of our people, we must be the dominant voice that they hear. Or at least like have a voice to be heard in the background of the gunshots of the latest knockoff John Wick film. But how are we going to do that? This costs money, and where's that money going to come from? Well, when you want to protect a local industry, you introduce tariffs on imported goods within that industry. And that does two things. One, it makes the local version cheaper, and two, it collects revenue for the government. Because you and I both know, nobody wants another Marvel movie, but Bahamians are still going to watch another Marvel movie, even if the price goes up. So here are my suggestions for tariffs for culture. 25 cents or some percentage of every movie ticket goes to a special purpose vehicle that will fund grants for the production of local films and television scripted shows. $3 or some percentage of every monthly cable subscription or monthly internet subscription, because we know that the majority of foreign content is bootlegged in this country. And so this is the only way to actually address that. It's that or turn off the internet. Anyway, so $3 of that goes to a special purpose vehicle that will fund grants for the production of local audio and visual content for public broadcasters like ZNS and or educational programming, because ZNS in this version of reality will no longer be allowed to compete for advertising with other local broadcasters. $150 or some percentage of every live foreign-based performer per performance goes to a special purpose vehicle that will fund grants for the production of musical and live performances. So stage, plays, concerts, stand-up, whatever. All audio and visual works for commercial purposes, so logos, flyers, radio, television ads, etc., for use within the Bahamas or where the primary audience will be Bahamians, must be composed, constructed, completed by Bahamians or residents of the Bahamas. In the case of teams, the team must comprise of no less than 51% Bahamians. Exceptions are materials that are a part of an international franchise and civic group requirements, as well as academic material and non-profit organizations, because I don't think we need to punish the Salvation Army for using their international logo. Inland Revenue will, at the beginning of every month, or April, release a list of businesses within the Orange economy that the public and the general business community can pull from for their services. Hit me up if you think any of this makes sense to you. Anyway, today we are going to be talking to an artist that has found a way to make his art commercially viable. And although my producer is telling me that Sebas knows how to play the piano, I'm just going to assume that he is not the guest. This is Sidebar, a 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. We'll be back after this.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. To walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk, Thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave with $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played dropping quick 4. This 5K can come and clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long ball.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours.
Well,
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
Bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, a 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and with me today we have, not to bass, Stefan Delavo.
That's my name.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You're a technologist, is what I'm guessing the lower third says. Right.
We can go with that. Yeah, that's probably the best.
And we're going to get to that. But today we're talking about money. Here's the thing. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because there are a bunch of things that people say all the time. And I feel like it's just, what's the word? Just buzzwords. People don't really know what they mean. Inflation, GDP, but also money. What is money? And I know that sounds dumb, but no, but what is money?
It's not dumb. It's actually, it's a deep question. Because it's like, when we think of money as just the dollars that we walk around with, that we use to pay for stuff.
Right.
But all that comes from somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. And, at some point that didn't exist and people using other things. So money, I guess the most concise definition is just what our government or what our nation uses as its kind of either store of value or its physical value. Because money, not to go too
It's fine.
too deep, but money is just like, money is value.
Okay.
So, you know, you have a $1 bill, you have a $5 bill, you have a $10 bill. That means for our practical use, that same dollar amount is just the value that's attached to that money.
Right.
Value could be a lot of different things. It could be represented by a lot of different things. But for ease of use and just practicality for everyday life and people who live inside a country, we decide to basically denote that with money. Money being the paper or cotton or whatever, dollars. So yeah, money is kind of pretty much that. It's like you take value, you attach a kind of physical aspect to that.
Right.
That the country or the government or the central bank or whoever, it's kind of all the above, decides what that money looks like, and then we all use that money.
See, this is where everything starts to fall apart. So, right? I hear what you're saying. Money equals value. There is how do we agree on a value?
Right.
All right? To say, all right, this money is worth this value. And then not everybody has the same things to measure. Like, how do we measure the value? So I know that at one point, gold was a thing. At one point, American money was backed by silver and gold and things like that, and precious metals.
Right.
But I mean, and that's assuming everybody values precious and semi-precious metals. How do we in a society where our primary asset is services, how do we ascribe value? I'm trying to keep it, family friendly for.
This is just an interesting conversation, and then of course the fact that we're in this where we kind of have our own interesting interaction and dynamic where our money is tied or pegged to the U.S. dollar.
Right.
So what that comes down to is whatever the U.S. dollar amount is, whatever that value set is, or value fluctuation or whatever, also comes down to us. Now it's not, we classify it as 1-to-1. Obviously there's like slight difference, but it is basically 1-to-1 at the end of the day, which also means that we're beholden to whatever happens to the US dollar. Pretty much. And then like what happens there happens to us in a lot of ways. And then it also means that we don't really, our interaction with money doesn't change in the way that some other countries or some other,
So I have two questions. I mean, well, I'm only going to ask this question just for people at home, right? The question of, well, why don't we just print more money?
Right.
If it is just, this is just an idea we all came up with, and we all decide and we all agree on it.
Yeah.
Why don't we just print more money and use that? That's the first question.
Okay. You want me to tackle one by one?
Yeah.
So that has like two different answers to it.
All right.
And that one, just like I said, our dollar is pegged to the US dollar. So if you take the US, for many different reasons, they can basically print money.
Right.
And that's, and that's its own like operation, like the central bank. That I won't go into it, but there's like a whole.
They can do it because they're big.
They're big, and also the way they do it is, they do. I won't go into the process, but
prestidigitation.
But they have a lot more leeway to actually, and a lot more ability to print money and put funds into the economy, mainly through the banks or through government services.
Right.
We can't really do that in the same way, again, because our dollar is pegged, and we don't have that size ability and that, in the way that the US dollar is basically can function almost anywhere.
Right.
That's what really gives them a lot of power to be able to do that. And the second answer to that is, the question was just, why can't we print money?
Yeah.
And this is also an important part of it, where if you're just flooding money into the economy, into the ecosystem, that eventually runs into problems of devaluation, which other countries in the Caribbean have had to deal with. And that is also not directly tied, but is indirectly tied to things like inflation as well. But yeah, it's one of those things where if we somehow decided to, well, one, depeg, which has its pros and cons,
Right.
but also if we did that and then said, oh, we're just going to drop money everywhere, then it'd be likely that our dollar amount would reduce even more.
So, okay, and this is just me because you. All right. On one hand, I want to ask you about the fact that because you're talking about central banks and they determine the rules, right? And so the second half of that question was, well, okay, well, what if we just use something else? If we all just agree on it and say this has value, which would lead us into Bitcoin. But now that you're you know what? Let's stick with the Bitcoin bit, all right? So there's my concern would be inflation if we just like flooded the market.
Right.
Right. But if we all decided, well, let's just use this other thing as currency, what is preventing us from doing that as well as, sorry, no, not as well as. What's preventing us from doing that? Because would that mean that we would have to not use American money as the measurement, and we'd have to use something else as the measurement?
Right.
Because I like how Bitcoin isn't attached to the American dollar.
Right.
So they don't fluctuate at the same rate or whatever.
It's a totally different
ball game. So what is stopping us locally from saying, okay, well, within the local economy, we would like to, you give me this thing, and I will exchange goods and services for that?
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, on a nominal level, nothing really stops it. Like, say, for example, countries used to, you brought up gold before.
Right.
Countries either used gold directly or they had gold as like the reserve, or whether all their money was basically attached to the price of gold.
Right.
A lot of countries did that, and eventually they stopped doing it because, since gold was a lot more stable, meaning that there was no real fluctuation, and it was always something that people wanted. But I think one of the big, one of the reasons they went away from that is that if you're, as your country is growing, as your economy is growing, maybe you want to be able to change your currency a little bit. Maybe you want to either put in more, take out, or put in less. Maybe. Are
you saying the stability was the problem?
Not so much stability was the problem, but yeah, it made it harder to do certain types of policy. So because of that, and the whole gold standard thing is a heavy conversation. We can get into that, but
that's what we have the Wizard of Oz for.
There you go. But if you're looking at Bitcoin, for example, it's kind of the same. It's a similar thing of where if your dollar is tied to something else, any kind of asset, you're basically beholden to that asset. So if you're using a gold standard, then your money's tied to gold. If your money is tied to the U.S. dollar, it's beholden to the U.S. dollar, basically.
Right.
So if it was like a Bitcoin kind of thing where we decided to tie to Bitcoin, then the cons of that, of course, would be we have less control over what that looks like,
right,
in terms of like the value and how much we can interact. The pro would be, it is something that most people consider to be constantly increasing, which could lead to
sometimes,
and I mean over the long term, right?
Right.
Which could lead to more value for the Bahamian economy at the end of the day. But of course, as I think most people know, in the shorter term, it fluctuates a lot.
Yes. Free growth and free fall.
And that's how markets work, right? So, which means that it would be harder to, again, it comes back to, it's kind of the opposite problem of gold, where it's similar and different at the same time. The similarity to gold being that it has that kind of long-term store of value. But gold's been around for obviously a very long time. Bitcoin hasn't. So it has to be able to get to that point. But in the short term, the con is that it's harder to kind of value at any particular time.
All right. So there's this idea, right? Because I think that what a lot of people are afraid of is, well, what if our money loses its value? Part of the issue, I think, with that is the fact that we are so removed from the value of our actual money that we don't know when our money loses value. Because it's really, what is the American dollar worth?
Yeah.
That determines what our dollar is worth. We're just looking and saying, oh, we're still 1-to-1.
Right.
But we're 1-to-1 by default.
By default.
That is, we will always be 1-to-1 until we decide to not be 1-to-1.
Yeah. And the US dollar also does fluctuate.
Right. But
we don't get slower.
But the thing is, if I'm only looking at the fact that, oh, there's still an American dollar there,
right,
then I don't realize that the American dollar isn't going as far as it used to go.
Correct.
Right? And so I might still be making $4, which is equal to $4 American dollars.
Right.
But if it costs an American $4.25 for what it used to cost them $3.75 for, I'm also going to have that problem.
And that's a really interesting point because, you know, our dollar could, like you said, it could stay relatively stable, like, you know, not too much different. But if there's, you know, either devaluation or let's say high inflation in the US, it does kind of fall onto us at the same time.
Right.
So when you know, if we go to Walmart just for our regular trips.
You don't have to go to Walmart. You don't grow detergent in the Bahamas or wherever detergent comes from. It's like everything that we have is imported.
Exactly.
So we still have to...
We still have the same problems.
Right.
Regardless if we're here or if we go elsewhere.
Right. The American dollar is a wall of protection, but on the other side of that wall is still a tumultuous sea of things.
Yeah.
Inversely or conversely, or one of the versely's, what we have is something like the Jamaican dollar, right? And even the British pound sterling.
Yeah.
I hear economists say things like devaluing your money may be a good move for some countries.
Right.
Because when that happens, the cost of labor goes down and the cost of living, and it's easier to operate within those countries for investors.
Right.
But the people within the country will be like, well, now I'm making less money because now I have to renegotiate. So how do we balance that?
Honestly, the main thing when that conversation comes up, it's more to do with trade and exports. So say, like, for example, an issue in the US right now is that their dollar is so high compared to a lot of the world that things that they want to export automatically carries a high price to it.
Right.
So if they're trying to sell their goods to, say, you know, customers in Thailand,
no,
it's too expensive because their dollar is too high. So for countries, and people do say that for countries who export a lot, it means if their dollar is lower, they could have, they could have cheaper, or at least more competitive products and trade and whatnot. But that's for countries that export a lot.
All right, cool. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about the use of money. This is Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. We'll be back after this.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard beating. What here? I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. Walk in the taxi, you got to do the Lucky Walk, brother. Oh, thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You leave it with $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Bang along.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played, dropping quick 4. This 5 taking come and clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this lawn bowl. There.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours. Well,
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madeira Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, a 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna with my guest, Stefan Delavo. It's weird, every time I start it, I start with a deep voice. I know by the end, like I go up an octave or two. During the break, we were talking, and I was saying, what is your solution for inflation? And your response was?
It's a kind of a tough question.
I don't think it's complicated.
You have ideas.
I have a single solitary idea, right? And I think that what happens is a lot of time people overcomplicate things. And I compared it as it's like the Bible, right?
Okay.
In the sense that the people who the Bible are about and who would have originally either experienced the stories or wrote down the stories in the first century, second century, those dudes was basic people. I want to say a different word. All right? They were very basic, normal human beings. In the Bible, Jesus is like, suffer the little children to come unto me, right? If you need an 8-year degree to understand a verse in the Bible or to explain a religious concept, there may be a chance that you're making it up. And because the thing is, That you have things, a movie like Dune,
Right.
or the Foundation series by Isaac Asimov.
Right.
Those things are dense.
Extremely.
All right? You have to be a dedicated sci-fi follower to even care about them. That's not for regular human consumption.
Right.
But if we're talking about salvation for the human soul, it shouldn't require that you be a nerd to understand it.
Right. You don't have to be a scientist.
You shouldn't have to be a scientist to get it. But the same thing also applies to money.
Okay.
Everybody needs money. Everybody uses money. Money is a inextricable part of our life. If I need to become an economist to understand money, then I and the economists are doing something wrong. We're making something up.
Economics is largely made up, and I say that as an economist.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So here's the thing, right? If inflation is, and then you could correct me if I'm wrong in my basic understanding of this, you have something that represents value. However, the value, like the money, the piece of paper that was once $1 and this costs $1, the cost to make or produce this goods or service is no longer equal to this nominal note. So this dollar can no longer get you this hot patty.
Right.
Hot patty used to be 85 cents when I was a child, but the cost to produce the hot patty, because oil and flour gone up because of the war in Ukraine, and curry gone up because nobody know where turmeric is no more, it went from 85 cents to $1 to $1.25, and last time I checked, it was almost $2.50 for the same hot patty with less beef in it, which don't make no sense because it's not like cows became a rare species.
Right.
But the cost of production and transportation. So now my dollar no longer matches that.
Correct.
And so when the cost of goods and services outpace what people are making, you get inflation. How do you fix that?
Yeah.
You could do all sorts of quantum mechanics or production.
That is one way.
The system is right. So part of our issue is that globalization, to believe it or not, the crazy crackpot in the corner was correct. Globalization is destroying us, all right? If the only place I could get wheat from, or 60% of my wheat comes from Ukraine and Russia, if those dudes go to war or get mad at somebody, what's going to happen? The price of wheat everywhere else goes up. And I can't, as a person who makes wheat anywhere else in the world, I can't afford to give you the wheat because wheat is fundamental to my diet.
Right.
So I don't make enough for me and you.
You have to find it somewhere.
Right. Or switch to something else. We are about to feel that in 10 years with the internet, when our floating friend above us with his satellites and decide, oh, I don't like what the people in the Bahamas are saying on Twitter about me, I'm going to turn their internet off.
That's happened in other places.
Right, it's already happened in Ukraine where he did that. And you know what's going to happen? Because we don't have any local internet providers that will still be around, because their stuff would have deteriorated in that time because all the Bahamians would have migrated over to the link of the stars.
There's some other alternatives coming, but
what I'm saying, what's going to happen is we'll be cut off from the internet. That's a very real possibility. All right? But if you have somebody else producing it, you don't have to figure out what bootleg way to get internet. You don't have to figure out what else. Well, I ain't got no flour. I can't afford hot patty no more. You just make me run off for 4 minutes about inflation. How is not?
That's what we came here for.
Right. But my whole point was that if we start producing our own food, that will cause the cost of living to go down.
For sure.
And what we have to spend to go down, because now it's like, oh, we don't have to import all the stuff.
Yeah. I mean, on a very serious note, I think local food production is our biggest white whale, and it's what we need probably the most to be, a better and long-term functioning society.
Right.
It's something that obviously people have been trying to do. There's initiatives for farming and whatnot, but it's something that we do need to spend more time on, do need to focus more on, because I mean, we've been feeling it with inflation has gotten so high because we import so many things. And even in general, importing things carries a heavy cost to it. And also, if we look at, our more southern Caribbean cousins who do produce a lot of their food, they're so much healthier. And a lot of the food that we get from the US is like not up to par. It's not top tier.
So,
we're eating things that are banned in Europe.
As a person who likes to keep his visa, right? Let me just say, right? I don't think necessarily, I think it's a situation where, the same thing with the entertainment they send us. The loudest and the most extreme is what gets exported, right? Nobody wants to hear the Philharmonic Orchestra, right? Except a handful of people.
Right.
But like, we have a song, it's crazy, it's a song about people killing each other. This is rare and doesn't actually happen that often in America. But would you like to hear this song? And that's the only song that gets put out, right? So we only get the rap music.
Fair point.
So now with food, why would you want healthy American food? Don't you want the Cheeto-crusted, whale-fat, donkey testicles, like burritos? Like, of course, that's what I want.
High fructose corn syrup.
Yeah, that's a better example. I didn't know I was going with the food. But yeah, so you're correct in terms of that. A lot of people say the problem with farming is that it's so labor intensive that they don't want to do it. I could fit this in 2 minutes. I could get to this point. I get to the point in 2 minutes.
All right.
What is stopping us from just letting robots do everything for us, right? Would that affect us on an economic level if we just let the robots do it?
I mean, I think the ability for that to happen is increasingly likely. That's coming for sure. We're already seeing companies ship out specific, helper robots. That's going to continue. And yeah, cost will still be a heavy factor, but I can see that happening.
But I think the cost is on the front end. Right?
Cost is on the front end, for sure.
So I had this conversation with you, right? I need to do it without calling any names of any companies that exist. Let's say you own a place that sells chicken.
Right.
You sell fried chicken.
Right.
There's nothing stopping you from getting machines to do all your chicken snacks, all your conch snacks, all your hamburgers. Right now. Fire everybody inside there. Have better quality control over how much ketchup you put on the fries. You done a skimp on the ketchup. You know who you is. Right? You done a skimp on the ketchup, but we could say this exact amount of ketchup, this exact amount of hot sauce on every single order. You save money in that regard. And you have no overhead in terms of employees. You only have the dude who programming the code, so the IT dude going in to make sure all the machines oil, the dude who's switching out the oil and the chicken and stuff. So you might have 4 or 5 employees running 5 to 6 different locations.
Right.
And that's all the employees you have. Now it can operate 24/7 without having to pay multiple people, multiple shifts.
Yeah.
But that's an initial investment of several $1 million. But after that, you're just dealing with pure profit in maintenance.
This is true. Which of course runs up into the question of employment, but I know you're getting to that anyway.
But I'm saying, so that's the question is now, when you fire all those people, they might not buy your chicken and fries, but they go to the barber buy the chicken and fries.
Right.
They go to the gas station attendant buy chicken and fries. But now that money isn't in the economy anymore because you fired those people.
Right.
Do you think that the reason why our beloved overlords have not invested in getting robots to do all the hard work is because they see the need to keep jobs in the system?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, our priority has always been jobs. Like that's how our local dynamic has focused on.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know if the reason outside of that is just it's still new. It's still new technology. We've not always been the quickest to adapt.
They can build houses. They have machines that can build houses.
This is true.
Anyway, continue. Go ahead. So yes, assuming that's what it is.
But just like you're saying, too, that it's very possible. It would reduce costs for many businesses, individuals in general. But of course, that would change our economy to in such a strong way that I can understand I can understand the slowness to adopt these kind of technologies, but like you said, one, they're coming. Two, for us to be competitive there is on a global scale because of globalization. We also have to think about that aspect.
It's an ego thing. I think it's ego.
I think it's fear more than ego.
I think it's ego more than fear because this is what's going to happen. If at some point you said it, this is why people want to have the universal basic income conversation.
Right.
If nobody who is a minimum wage worker, if all the minimum wage jobs are replaced with robots, you still have those people. And if it costs you essentially $0 to have all the goods and services that you have right now, and none of those people have to go to work, how do they access the goods and services? You have to give them a basic income to access the goods and services.
That would be the only way, pretty much.
Even though you don't need their labor. Which then means the value of money is no longer the value of money. Money becomes utilitarian only.
Somewhat, yeah.
Well,
but then there's still the question of, and again, there's a lot of conversations about UBI, Universal Basic Income, right now in the U.S. And they have the ability to try it. They have the ability to try it. Their money is
different
for all intents and purposes, kind of infinite, at least for now.
Yeah.
We don't have that same
because we don't have the chicken frying robots. Once we get the robot that can fry the chicken, that's the first step.
That's the first step, but then there's still the question of, there's money that comes from the public sector and money that comes from the private sector. There would have to be more of a, I guess, blurring of those lines. I don't know how that happens. I don't want to be out anywhere in charge of that. But there's a lot of conversations to be had and a lot of ways to think about how we continue in terms of looking beyond just our everyday kind of interactions.
All right, so you guys are having a conference.
We're having a conference.
About the thing that I told you I'm not necessarily the staunchest believer in, but you're saying that this is more about the technology of.
Right, so he was going to say crypto, and then whenever you think of crypto, you think of
crypto bros.
Those very terrible people. But so for me personally, my focus has always been around the technology that surrounds it, the blockchain technology, right?
Right.
That's what I've always worked in, and that's what this conference is called, Oasis on Chain. It's going to be end of January 2025. We focus on things like digital payments and just very practical use cases around like what you can do with blockchain, and we're going to have companies actually come down to show these kind of practical interactions. It'll be a very, very experiential. We had it in January of this year. We're going to make it even bigger this next year, and it's focused around the actual experiences.
So, is there any way to like tie together I don't want to say actual money, but actual money, with the Bitcoin payment system, so that let's say I'm at a vending machine, I could use digital payments as opposed to having cash or.
So and like I said, digital payments, and that's automatically international, automatically like cross-border. When we talk about remittances and things like that, like that's going to be kind of the heavy focus will be on that digital payments aspect and what that looks like, and how we can even bring like the regular Bahamian dollar into that as well.
Okay, all right, sounds very interesting. Hopefully we hear more about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Stefan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up. This is Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. We'll be back after this.
Get ready to win Lucky Bucks. Wherever you see this taxi, flag it down.
The boy hard, beating so hard, I will be hard with what here. I'm looking for my first contestant to ride in the Lucky Taxi. You walk in the taxi, you gotta do the Lucky Walk, bro. Oh, thanks. Man, thank you, sir. 85 times 2 is how much, brother? You only win $170, brother.
I never expected to win as much as I win.
Very excited when the gentleman picked me to ride inside the taxi.
So if I had to choose a game that would stay, it would be Island of Taxi.
You could be next on the Island Lucky Taxi.
You wouldn't believe that number I just played dropping quick 4. This 5K can come in clutch, my boy.
So you ain't had the mega ball on that?
You know mega ball on quick 4, my man.
Oh, okay then.
Mega Ball, now available on Quick 4. Multiply your winnings with the only 4-ball game that pays $20,000. With a draw every 30 minutes, your chances to win are mega.
I bet you I could beat you running into this long ball.
I bet you my drink will come out before yours. Well,
I bet you I could hold my breath longer.
bet.
Hey, wait.
If it can happen, you can bet it. So why not bet with us? The Bahamas' #1 online casino, lottery, and sportsbook. We bet you won't find bigger payouts anywhere else but islandluck.com. Winners live here.
Tired of driving around from place to place just to get your car insured and licensed? Frustrated with the process of being back and forth from your insurance company to road traffic? Well, BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers just made insuring and licensing your motor vehicle as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Visit us at the Road Traffic Department, Section 1, Thomas A. Robinson Sports Stadium. At our office, you can purchase or renew your insurance or get your vehicle inspected. We at BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers represent major carriers. Step 2. See the professionals at Road Traffic to get your vehicle licensed. Step 3. Enjoy your day. Insure with BMG Insurance Agents and Brokers today, saving you time and money. Your one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Great rates, convenient, excellent service. For more information, call us at 322-2221.
Edenwell has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madeira Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay Eden well.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Welcome back to Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna, and this is the Island segment. The Berry Islands. Top food. I don't know. I am tempted very strongly to say berries, but I'm 1,000% that is probably incorrect. I'm probably thinking of the gummy bears. If you're from the berries, what is the food that people have to try when they visit there? All right. They're big on sports fishing in the Berry Islands. They catch like tuna and king mackerel. So I assume that their top export is 99 cents breakfast. Top site to visit. The top place to visit in the Berry Islands is Little Stirrup Key. No? It's private? Great Stirrup Key. It's a great place to... No. It's owned by Norwegian Cruises. Okay, all right. Little Whale Key... Cistern Key is... This is Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm Stephen Hanna. And so, final word, Stefan, let's say you come into this world, all right? You don't have any specific skill, and you don't have a trust fund. What would you do? Not necessarily to get rich, but to survive. What would that be?
Wow. This will probably be a cliche answer, but be creative, look around for stuff, be very open-minded to new things, be very open-minded to finding out more things for yourself. I mean, skills are something that are fairly easy to, you just have to keep working at something to gain skills, which means that you have to kind of have the wherewithal. It's assuming you also have access to like the internet, for example. There's a lot of things you could look up on how to maybe build something, how to...
But how do I not get sucked into a scam? Like, how do I not end up on, all you have to do is get my course?
Yeah, try to avoid anyone who's automatically pushing a course at you. But there are a lot of ways to, like, for example, you can find university courses for free, or at least the material around certain courses, for example. There's a lot of those you can find online. There's a lot of these kind of, I forget what they call the the MOOCs,
Masters?
massively online courses.
Okay.
I believe they're called, yes, something like that. But so many different ways to actually look into something. There's AI stuff, there's blockchain stuff. Be open to tech is one of the things I think is really important. And also look beyond our borders. With the internet, you can automatically do stuff internationally. You can automatically do stuff globally. So also be open to that and realize what you're doing, your customer base, for example, could be global rather than just in one place.
All right. Thank you, Stefan. We will speak again at some point.
Definitely. About
the big C word. But until then, this has been Sidebar, 103 The Beat podcast, powered by ILTV. I'm obligated to say that each time. We'll be back next week.